Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gunnlaugur Erlendsson. Everyone calls me G because my name is unpronounceable. And I'm here because we need to talk about tires. Now, who in the room really cares about tires? Okay, that's pretty good. Tires are boring. They're dirty. They're not sexy. They're black. They're round. They have a hole in the middle. They all look the same. And every car and truck on the planet runs on tires. Without them, we wouldn't have mobility. Without them, we would not have an economy. So everything on this planet would stop if we remove these products out of our ecosystem. So we need tires. But tires are really carbon intensive. They're mostly made from fossil fuels and other carbon intensive raw materials. And it's bizarre, but if we switched every car to electric today, that is, we still have to pump oil out of the ground to make the tires for them. The production of tires is also incredibly carbon intensive. Factories run on fossil fuels. They're highly polluting. And that gives us even more carbon. And these places are generally not very nice places to work either. Tires are also inefficient. That means that when you fuel your car, you end up buying more fuel because the efficiency of the tire drags you down. So it costs you more, and again, more carbon. And this is really bad in the United States because at the moment, right now, there is no tire label that tells you what a good tire and a bad tire is. So when you buy one, you have no idea how much fuel economy you are actually going to end up with. So you have actually no choice at the moment to buy a better product. And when it comes to tires, surprise, they wear down. Every time you stop, start, and turn, your tire is slowly wearing down. And we generate 6 million tons of tire pollution every single year. And this is partly driven by the fact that the industry is addicted to churn. The whole tire industry is actually focused on selling more tires to grow. And that doesn't favor reduction of pollution because they don't really want the tires to last too long. So on one hand, we are all responsible for creating this pollution. And if you say, well, I don't want to create tire pollution, that's great, but then don't drive anywhere. And don't have anything driven to you. And see how that works out for you. That includes Amazon, no home delivery. And the same pollution we were talking about is also a microplastic. So recently there was a research done that said it's the largest source of primary microplastic pollution into our oceans. And it's really hard to show you primary microplastic pollution in our oceans. Well, I'll come to this image a bit later. But ultimately, we have designed the perfect solution to deliver microplastics into our oceans. And it's called cities and drains. So they're like jet engines. As soon as it rains, all this pollution we've generated in our urban areas just simply gets washed away. And that is a critical problem. The tire industry has a solution to that. Better drains in cities. That's a good one. Now, the photo, of course, shows you not microplastics, but macroplastics. This is what you do with tires, or at least you used to do here in the United States. We would create so-called artificial reefs to generate coral and life in the ocean. The problem is this, that these are basically, as soon as the tornado or hurricane comes through, these are like wrecking balls. They literally roll all over the seafloor. So destroying everything they touch. And it's actually interesting that they're too toxic for the environment to actually live in. But I'll come to that. Okay, we're there almost. Tires are also responsible for more urban air pollution than tailpipes in many cities. In the UK already, we're breathing more tire dust than tailpipe dust. Now, fun fact, 7 million people die every year from air pollution. And the problem is that that's a bigger number than died from COVID during the epidemic, every single year. So air pollution is really important. And if tire pollution is now a greater portion of air pollution than tailpipes, we have to address this. And as vehicles get heavier, tire pollution actually gets worse because of the weight of our cars. So to sum it up, we're now breathing tire microplastics, which are toxic. And that is a critical problem. Here in Washington State recently, the scientists identified finally what was causing the salmon die-offs on the west coast of the United States. And they narrowed it down to a material called 6-PPD. Now, according to the California EPA, the 6-PPD is the second most toxic aquatic contaminant they ever discovered. It's literally second to a pure poison into our ocean to kill the salmon population. So again, we're breathing toxic microplastic dust from tires. And scientists are now finding this in our bodies doing research. And we don't know what effect it's having on our own health, let alone the environment we live in. And then to cap it all off, at the end of their short life, tires end up in landfills, or if they're lucky, they get incinerated, creating more carbon. And the industry gets away with calling it recycling. So imagine if we would just burn all the plastic bottles overnight and call it recycling. The tire industry calls this recycling and gets away with that. Nobody questions that. Again, more carbon. The whole life cycle of a tire, therefore, in a short format is carbon, 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 microplastics, air pollution, toxicity, waste, and then more carbon. And sometimes it just incinerates itself. So, who cares about tires? That's a bit better. Who cares about electric vehicles? Okay. Well, we need EVs because they help us combat climate change. We're not going to be successful in combating climate change without switching aggressively to EVs and making EVs more successful. We desperately need that to happen as soon as possible. And EVs are brilliant. They're highly efficient. So they're so efficient that when you compare an EV to an internal combustion vehicle, an EV is about 75% efficient. An ICE vehicle is about 25%, so it's 3 times more efficient. And when you count the regen, that's when you capture the energy back, that number gets even better. So that's great, but it also means a fun fact. The tire is responsible for most of the energy losses in your vehicle when you drive an EV at slow speeds, anything up to 30 or 40 miles an hour. Your main cause of energy losses is the tire. So if you put a good one on, that's great, you'll keep your range. But it means when you put a bad tire on, you lose a lot of range, much faster than an ICE vehicle, because your EV is already 3 times more efficient. So tire choice is incredibly important when it comes to electric vehicles. So ultimately, we need to make sure that these vehicles are kept at their highest efficiency throughout their whole lives. Here's another fun fact. EVs are also heavy. Everyone knows that. We also have SUVs, which are also really heavy, and all cars are actually getting heavier. But EVs are unique. They have high weight, high torque. We've aggregated them in urban environments with high concentrations where you have that stop, start, and turn traffic generating more tire pollution. And often they're driven very aggressively, specifically when you order something on Amazon and incentivize the driver to do 100 delivery stops in a day and pay him per package. With EVs, Michelin has already said that they wear tires up to 20% faster. Goodyear says up to 50% faster. So, although all vehicles are getting heavier and tire pollution is becoming a bigger problem, EVs are, again, highly susceptible to efficiencies, but also have that weight. So what should we do? So this is why we set up ENSO. ENSO is a tire company, a tire technology company focused on material science on its mission to make EVs more successful. And we do that principally by extending EV range with ultra-efficient tires and reduce tire pollution, while also saving costs every mile. And that's critical for the adoption of this technology. We make our tires more affordable. That means you pay less upfront, and it's effectively a green discount. We do that by cutting out the middlemen. We make the tires more efficient with material science. That gives you the range. It also means less carbon. We make them more durable. That reduces this critical pollution. And we make them longer life. We also address the toxicity. The critical thing is this. We also focus on sustainability at an aggressive pace because we are the only tire company in the world that has set its target to be carbon neutral by 2030. That's 2 decades ahead of the rest of the tire industry. And we can deliver this all today with existing technologies. That's very important to note. So you might ask, how are we going to do that? How are we going to scale that? Because scale is critical for impact. Technology is nice, but technology without scale doesn't deliver the impact we need.
To keep America's economy moving while delivering sustainable growth, electric vehicles need better tires. That's what ENSO delivers. More affordable, longer lasting, range extending tires. ENSO is coming to America with a pioneering carbon neutral factory that will change the tire industry, creating high-skilled jobs, strengthening America's supply chain, making electric vehicles more successful. Join our journey.
ENSO is building the future of the tire industry. And we're now actually looking for a home here in the United States. And again, this is existing technology, but we're accelerating this technology by delivering it to the most demanding electric vehicle use cases, the ones that drive the most, the electric fleets that operate our cities, the urban heroes that keep our cities operating at pace, because that is how we tackle this and create the best impact. Now, as I said, this is all based on existing technology. But I have to warn you, we won't make the tire last forever. We will make it, however, last a lot longer, make it inert to the environment, and ultimately address the whole ecosystem of the tire with the circular economy. Because ENSO actually means circle in Japanese. So it's very important that we keep talking about tires. Without this conversation, the industry will not shift. Without regulation to drive the change, it won't happen, except at our scale. But critically, as you all move forward, what we want to make sure is that the conversation continues. So I want to thank you so much for listening. I want to thank Bloomberg, of course, for hosting us. We're really, of course, proud that Prince William recently nominated us for the Earthshot Prize, which has helped us to scale our solution now. And let's together make electric vehicles more successful. Thank you very much.